This is Great Day Sunday with your host, Bridget Smith.
Well, good morning, San Antonio. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Great Day Sunday. We've got a lot going on. Here's what's coming up on today's show. You'll meet San Antonio author Andrew Harris, who has taken his life experience, his love for poetry and storytelling, and put it all onto paper. He'll explain why he wrote the book, No Poetic Licenses. Plus, a motivational speaker who needed the inspiration to reach her ultimate goal, weight loss, how Sandra Steen plans to take the weight off, and why you'll want to follow her in her journey. And he went from being homeless at 15 to becoming a Latin pop star to singing inspirational music today. We'll introduce you to the singer Josh Lopez and why you'll be mesmerized by his music. And marriage advice
Happening Thursday, March the 31st through April the 3rd. So you've got some time to make it out there, Daniel, if you missed the first 2 days. For a list of events, you can go to texaswineandfood.org. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks again for having us.
Thank you, Daniel.
Greatly
Thank you for the
appreciate it.
spherification.
Hey.
Yummy. Well, coming right up, he's taken some of his life experiences and turned them all into a book. Why Andrew Harris says there's no poetic licenses when we come back. A former military man, a fan of storytelling and poetry, Andrew Harris had so many stories he needed to share. He put them all into a book. He's here to tell us all about it. And good morning to you, Andrew.
Good morning.
I'm glad you're here. You spent how many years in the military?
17 years.
17 years. 17 good years, huh?
Wonderful years.
Yeah, and the branch?
Army, United States Army.
So I take it you've seen a lot.
Yes, I have. I've traveled extensively, lived in Germany for 10 years, in the Middle East for almost 6.
Wow. Okay, so, and you're not originally from San Antonio, but you were born and raised on the East Coast.
Yes, I was.
And then when you came to San Antonio, you decided, okay, I'm going to make my home here. You also decided, you know what, I'm going to eventually put this book together, No Poetic Licenses. And I got to take a look. I want you to take a look at the cover. That's you.
That's me. That's actually me.
Tell us, that's a story in itself. Tell us about that.
Yes, it is. What I was trying to do with the cover itself was to explain that the frame I was holding is our life, and the person inside of it is us, and it's the place where we are our most under control, where we're our most comfortable, our most vulnerable. And the banner represents exactly the things that come into your life and come out of your life as we go through our daily thing.
And I'm looking at some of the words here: boredom, forgiveness, control, emptiness, and so many other words here that you put on that cover. Why did you pick that type of cover, and why did you pick those words?
Okay, the type of cover, it goes exactly with the name, No Poetic License. So I wasn't trying to dress myself up. I was trying to be as open and as honest and as free with what I was thinking about as I possibly could. And when you are in a place of comfort, like your home, your work, you struggle every day to try and have respect and to try and give love, to receive love, you know, and things of these natures. And that's why these words mean so much.
And I take it with this book, you read through it, you also, you could walk away learning something from it as well.
I would like that, yes.
Yes, yeah. And some of the things that you've written on there, if you could recall for us, because I know you did a little bit of poetry plus storytelling.
Yes, there are 4 short stories in the book. And the short stories range in way from a situation we call, one of them that I called The Search for the Ice Cream Monster. And this is a story about being an adult with kids. And you know how it is when you have 5 people in the house and you're to the last bit of ice cream. You know, you want that last little nugget for yourself, but you got to hide from the kids and how they'll search you out. That's basically what that story is about. And then there's another one that's called The Dark Christmas Tale of old Don St. Nick. And that was inspired by those commercials about Las Vegas. You know, how everything is supposed to be secretive in Las Vegas, but there was still one guy that popped up in my head that knows when you've been naughty and when you're nice. And
so instead of old St. Nick, it's Don St. Nick.
Don St. Nick.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now, I know you've got a lot of stories here, and I'm sure there's got to be one that kind of sticks out in your mind. Is there something that maybe you can kind of read an excerpt from here? You got something in mind here?
Well, I can go through some of the things that pop up on my head. Like there's the sayings I really like. There's one that I think that holds true. It's called, it's about reputations. It says reputations are 25% hype, 25% jealousy, 25% unfounded accusations, and 25% whichever you can get away with while everybody's paying attention to the other 75%.
Now, how'd you come up with that formula? How'd you come up with that?
I read a book that had a lot of quotes from famous people like Oscar Wilde and, you know, Teddy Roosevelt. And when I started feeling the theme about what they were doing, I said, well, I could do that too.
Right, right. And so when you decided to put that together, what was the inspiration behind it?
Well, the inspiration around it was, you know, my experiences on the social networks and how people would believe what they wanted to believe and not. And I tried to explain to them, it's not always what you see.
Right. Right, right. And so I take it, then that must have been pretty recent because the social networking is pretty recent as well.
It is pretty recent, yes.
And so what about anything here, too, that kind of describes your journey throughout the world? I mean, because you've traveled so many times and to so many places. Anything that sticks out with that here?
Well, there's one here in there that's called The Space Between Our Faces. And it's actually a long, shortly long poem. And it really goes to when I was standing out in a place in the there's a space between Saudi Arabia and Iraq that's called the neutral zone. And I was standing out there and I was watching a B-52 fly right over my head and drop bombs.
Oh, my
goodness.
Just a
long line of bombs from it. And that was what it inspired me to let everybody know how it was to know that you're on the doorstep of combat right then and there, and you don't know what's happening next.
So close to you, right? And so I take it these are just these are some of the stories that you have taken throughout your life, and so it was an ongoing project for you. Yes. How long did it take you? Lastly, how long did it take you to put everything together?
It started in 2002.
Oh, wow. There you have it, and you put this together.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we can always stop by and kind of pick up a book like this. Andrew Harris's No Poetic Licenses. It is available to purchase on infinitypublishing.com or any major bookstores. Congratulations to you, Andrew.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, very, very, very good. I love the cover. It's so cool.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, coming right up, she's got a voice that'll wow you. Check out the next rising star who already has star quality.